Welcome everyone to the University of California Esports Initiative presented by Xfinity. We're here for exciting games of League of Legends. This is our 5th straight year of doing this, so we're going to have a lot of really exciting games for you. Now, what is UCEI? Well, UCEI is the Cross UC tournament presented by Xfinity, of course, and we'll be competing in League of Legends, Overwatch, and Valorant over the next month in our all-in qualifiers in preparation for the LAN at Red Bull HQ in Santa Monica. That'll be coming in January, so stay tuned for that. Now, Ryan, what's our format looking like today?
Yeah, so we're going to have a double elimination bracket with best of ones. And today we're going to have 3 games for you guys on today's stream. And tomorrow we'll have another 3 games. And next week we'll be broadcasting Overwatch. And today is League of Legends. I don't know if you already mentioned that.
Yeah. Yep, this is our League of Legends online qualifiers, so we'll be having a lot of exciting games coming up today. So first off, we have UCLA versus UC Riverside. Next, we have UC Berkeley versus San Diego. And then we'll be closing off the day today with Irvine versus Santa Barbara. Now, UC Irvine is coming in as our first seed in the tournament, looking very strong. And they're going to be coming in as the tournament favorites by far, with 5 players all who have hit challenges in the past. And looking to repeat their success from last year because they were the LAN winners in the previous year.
Yeah, notably UCSD is coming in as the 6th seed this year. However, they did place in 2nd place last year at UCEI.
Yep, we'll be looking to see if they can kind of rebuild their glory from previous years and make it to LAN again, because that's what's really important today. We'll have one LAN qualifying match today. That'll be our last one, UC Irvine versus Santa Barbara. As you saw in the bracket, Davis unfortunately had to forfeit their first match against Santa Barbara, so they will not be playing today and have instead dropped to the lower bracket. We'll see them tomorrow during our second game of the day. All right. So, regarding our tournament, we'll be right back with the League of Legends first game coming up with UCLA versus Riverside, and with that, we'll see you right back.
All right, welcome back, guys, to the UCEI Invitational presented by Xfinity. Today, we're going to be having a game between UCLA and UCR. I'm Michael, and I'm going to be one of your casters.
And I'm Zandy, and I'll be the other caster.
All right, just looking at UCLA right now, they're actually second seed in the tournament, and they actually have a completely new roster, something to really look forward to. And they have made it to LAN actually in the past 2 years, so it's going to be a really exhilarating game.
Meanwhile, UCR does seem to be only the 7th seed in the tournament, and they have completely revamped their team with a lot of the people from JV getting promoted up to varsity. This is really great to see these two new teams going head-to-head with each other.
I should know right now that actually UCLA is set to win in previous tournaments. If you guys don't know, both CLOL and the LBCC Cup, UCLA has defeated UCR 2-0. So while UCLA is favored, we don't know how this one will turn out.
Yeah, especially with all the fresh blood on this team, it's going to be a really exhilarating match between the two.
All right, just looking at the bans here, we see UCLA banning Zach and Vel'Koz, with UCR banning Skarner and Nocturne. All right, so it seems like UCR is going to be targeting Gyu, which is UCLA's Grandmaster Jungler.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we might see some more jungle bans in the future, but right now it does look like that support will be picking first.
Right, beyond these bans, what else are we going to have? A Hui ban, okay. He's trying to get rid of that control mage. And on UCR side, we have... Alright, still hovering, 15 seconds, and that's going to be another jungle ban unexpectedly.
Yeah. It looks like UCLA is really trying to shut out some mid and bot support as well with their target bans. Oh, it looks like Aurelia has been picked for top lane.
Irelia top. Oh,
Never mind. It's very indecisive. We're finally setting on Aurora. That would be an interesting pick. She is one of the newer champs that have been released recently, along with, who else was it? Hui and the new one, Ambrosia, right?
yes, but that one's not out yet, right?
Oh, yeah, that
Okay,
is
not
true.
yet, not yet. So we do have UCR here picking those two bot laners right away for good synergy. I do see UCR here really taking advantage of that Nautilus CC in addition to placing that Caitlyn trap that could prove extremely fatal for UCLA.
And this could be a really difficult comp because it has both really good defensive and engage abilities. So I wonder how UCLA will play around this.
Alright, so it seems like UCLA has decided to pick Rel, another engaged support. Interesting to see how Rel versus Nautilus is going to play out here.
Yeah. And Jin, oh, it looks like they're going to match UCR's composition with their own ranged and engaged support.
Let's see here, Jax, okay. Jax in, is that going to be jungle, right? Or could be top, we don't actually know yet. However,
UCLA is going to have to enter this. Recently, I think Bin was playing Jax at Worlds, right? You think we'll have a future
yes.
Bins on UCR's team?
Perhaps, I don't know, we don't know. UCR could be producing the next line of World's GOATs.
So what do you think? What do you think they're going to pick into Jax now?
Into Jax, so assuming Jax would be jungler, you know, this is hard to say. I'm not too sure what Gyu actually has been playing recently, though I do know that Aurora will just be utilizing her poke abilities to really make Jax have a difficult laning phase if he is in fact going to be playing top here.
Definitely, Jax can really get out of control, especially if he does have lane priority. Oh, and it looks like Orianna has been picked on UCR's team.
Orianna, I think, a really predictable CC mage pick here. Coming out from UCR, they did need that AP damage. See Corki coming out here from UCLA, another ranged champion. And also Lee Sin, slightly less conventional here.
But definitely is still a strong pick, especially into Jax, because both of them have so much mobility and the ability to jump to each other's wards and opponents.
What I'm predicting here right now is for UCR to actually have a much stronger early game.
Mordekaiser? Oh my god, Mordekaiser's been picked. Mordekaiser and Jax. That's two top laners, technically, so I wonder which one of them is jungle. So yeah, I think that UCR's team comp really is built towards a lot of team fights, especially with the Orianna and Nautilus. Both of them have really great CC abilities that can help that the other damage dealers, such as Orianna and Caitlyn, to do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser, that's a very unconventional pick. I don't think I've seen a lot of Mordekaiser jungles before. That is assuming he is jungle.
I think they have rotated back swap picks into their correct formation, so I'm just gonna take a guess here and say that Jax is going to be jungle and Mordekaiser is going to be top. Just looking at the comps right now, I think early game UCR definitely has that advantage with their strong CC, coming with the Nautilus, the Orianna, and also Mord as well. So those ganks are going to be much more easier for Fan to pull off against UCLA.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the Jax's ability to immediately jump towards or opponents. He's going to really be able to get in and harass the Aurora. But Aurora does have a lot of good disengage tools, especially with her E. So maybe we're going to have to see how this one goes out.
I am a bit worried, however, for bot lane, which I think UCR is going to be prioritizing here. We do know that Jin is extremely immobile, and Rel, while slightly mobile, is more of an engaged support than a disengaged support. So I do see Jax favoring bot lane here.
There definitely will be a lot of traps thrown down on each side, though.
Definitely. For this mid matchup, I'm curious to see how it's going to go. We do have both mid laners running TP, both top laners running TP as well. Maybe less likely to see some early first bloods coming in without that ignite.
But yeah, either way, it does look like this will be a very action-packed game, especially with the engaged supports and Mordekaiser and Jax.
Definitely. Orianna also with her ultimate gonna be providing a really good gank setup opportunity for Jax. Whereas Lee Sin, he's more reliant on landing his Q, which is not gonna be a guaranteed skill shot that he could hit. Whereas Jax just Q and you jump onto them and you get a free stun, right?
I think Gwei has got that dog inside of him, though. This would definitely be the battle for jungle.
Maybe. I guess
Yeah.
late game UCLA might have the advantage here. We do know that Jin is extremely strong past that around 30-minute mark. If they can extend it to that long, they might have a chance, but we also, on the other hand, do know that Lee Sin does fall off later
Yes,
on.
definitely, especially also with Corki as well. Corki
Mm.
does flatline pretty hard towards the late game. But I guess Mordekaiser and Nautilus do have really good scaling, especially into the late game, with Mordekaiser being able to shield so much, and Nautilus, if he builds Heartsteel, will become a truly behemoth. Just like the legends of Bilgewater say.
Right now, I'm really curious as to how UCLA is actually going to play this one. I'm just going to make the assumption right here that UCLA is going to play very aggressive early on with that Lee Sin Q and kick. Their team is actually not that well fit for late game. Does Aurora flatline later on, or is she better late game?
I would say she's kind of like Corki, where she does have a ceiling that eventually, because especially with Mordekaiser can definitely outscale her with Riftmaker and all of that.
I think Mordekaiser's job right now is to really just ultimate UCLA's Jin, right?
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
If they were to make it towards late game, then that'd be a priority for Mord. Rel's priority would then be to really just distance Mord away from Jin there.
If Rel does hit her Qs, though, I could see this going really badly for both the Caitlyn and the Nautilus. Because even though Caitlyn does have her W, if she's stunned and Jin manages to collapse on her, she is pretty squishy.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't think both ADCs have much mobility in this game. I think it's just going to be a race to see who can take down which ADC first, and that might just be the defining factor for who's going to win those team fights.
Exactly.
Alright, so it does seem like we're being loaded into the match here. Some delay, maybe.
So yeah. What do you think about the mid game? We've talked a lot about the beginning and we've talked a lot about the end, but what do you think will happen during maybe like a couple minutes past the laning phase?
I do know that Aurora and Lee Sin are going to be much stronger in the mid game. Definitely going to be looking to play more aggressive, even just beyond that early game, mid game. I think that's where UCLA is really going to try and close things out. as I was saying before, if UCR does somehow manage to stretch this game past that 30-minute mark, it's not going to be looking well for UCLA.
Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of ganks going down in, especially after like Void Grubs or Herald has been taken, with how much that Elysian wants to be aggressive and get the buffs.
Hmm. I mean, we do know right now that UCLA is favored to win, so I'm sure they have something that they're going to cook up here in the early and mid game. Just really excited to see how it turns out. Does seem like we have a pause here. Not too sure why.
Yeah, but you were definitely right about yesterday. Me and him were talking about Worlds yesterday. It's crazy how T1 came back from that. I mean, I was a little nervous in the beginning. I was a little worried after match 2. I woke up in the morning and my friend texted me. He's like, "Yo, T1's getting dogged." I'm like, "What?" And I typed back, "T1's gonna win 3-2," and it happened.
Was it how'd the matches go? It was BLG got 2-0 first, or was it 2-1?
I think T1 won one, then BLG won one, and then BLG won another.
I see. Okay.
By then I was definitely losing hope.
I was
but
rooting for BLG the entire time. You were rooting for T1,
I was
right?
rooting for T1. Sorry guys, I just love Faker so much. He is the GOAT. They made a whole song about him. Heavy is the crown.
Do you like that song?
It's pretty good. I think it's good. I like Linkin Park. You know, I've always had a soft spot for Linkin Park. I think
Honestly.
it's from the Transformer memes that really got me into them.
They have something to do with Transformers?
So someone put an edit of one of Linkin Park song onto Transformers, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fire. And I searched it up, and it was Linkin Park. Like I've been following them ever since.
Honestly, I didn't actually like the recent World songs. I mean, last year was the New Jeans one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that wasn't that bad. I really liked I don't know if this is a World song. Was Phoenix a World song?
Phoenix? That was I don't remember. It sounds like it'd be a word song though. I know the Valorant World song slightly better than the League World songs, but you know they're both pretty good.
I think it was also Lil Nas X that did what was that song called?
Starboy? No, that's
No,
not
no,
Lil
that's the
Nas
weekend.
X.
No, the World song for League. I think 2 years ago in Worlds it was like Star Walking. Yes,
Oh,
that
Star
one.
Walking.
Yes, I did. I don't think League has had many hype World songs beyond this year's Heavy as the Crown, so I think it's really great that they're going back to those actually like hype World songs. I know people had some complaints about Gods last time. Alright,
Oh.
so it seems like we're actually in game, no more talking about songs.
Looks like everyone's rolling out. The Autobots, Decepticons, roll out.
Roll out indeed.
And we have the classic split on both sides. Both of them really seeming to try and take some early map control.
Do you see UCLA here playing around that river brush?
Oh wow, they are really looking to get in for maybe a potential invasion of the red buff. Oh, and looks like UCR has the same idea. Wow. I didn't know we were switching sides this early. I've heard of switching lanes, but switching nexuses, that's something completely different.
Seems like both teams are actually going for the red buff here. Don't know if they're actually looking for picks or to steal it. We see recalls coming out from UCR.
They realize they're squatters. Squatters' rights don't apply in the Summoner's Rift, unfortunately. And with no people spotted on red buff, it looks like they're all going to return to their respective lanes, huh?
Definitely.
It looks like UCR is remaining at the UCLA's red buff, however. Maybe they're trying to force out the Lee Sin to try and get in.
Really smart by Zeka and Kraken here, taking the long way around, most likely knowing that UCR is going to go for that red early on. However, they will be losing priority in lane, especially bot lane here, if they do decide to take that red. We do have a ward here placed by
ward's placed.
Kraken. Are they going to... Yes, they will be taking the red.
Now it looks like the two bot lanes will intersect. With them playing really cagily around their supports, I could see.
See Fan really just trying to get this early game tempo here by taking Gyu's camps. We see Gyu going in for his Raptors, but is going to be spotted out by Oriana's ward here.
Yeah, it does look like a very good play to immediately... Ooh, looks like a very early
Level 2 gank. Lee Sin should be going river now, or is not. Okay, decide to go back.
Corki does manage to escape. Getting in now again, collapsing upon the Oriana, but is very well aware of the Jax and tries not to get in. Ooh.
Oh, almost from the electrocute. Lee Sin now taking Krugs, it seems like.
Meanwhile, Jax tending his fields, getting the red buff right now.
Alright,
Lee
Lee
Sin
Sin.
is aware. Maybe trying to steal the red buff potentially or get an early gank.
Corki is moving up towards Jax right here. Fly is definitely gonna. Oh, never mind. Corki. Oh,
Oh,
Corki actually
flash
gets
out
first
immediately.
blood.
Congratulations,
Shining that
Corki.
EDG emote. Let's go EDG, guys.
No, EDG won Val Worlds? That was crazy. I thought they were a league-only team. They appeared
Oh
in
yeah, they
Valorant.
used to be. They actually used to be a EU team. Then they moved to China.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, let's just talk about Val now. Honestly, who cares about League?
Meanwhile, ooh, Mordekaiser already forced under tower. It's a very nice freeze, though.
Honestly, I don't really see how Mordekaiser can maybe. Never mind. Never mind. Just landing that either.
Exactly. Mordekaiser gets really strong. Ooh, unlucky skill shot. But Mordekaiser does get really strong when they have the opponent in their grasp, especially if the Aurora is playing that close. But it does look like GUI is trying to potentially help out the Aurora, get an early lead in lane here.
Alright.
Ooh, nice skill shot dodge. Mordekaiser is looking very low here. This could potentially be a gank.
Q nearly misses right here.
Unfortunately. Mordekaiser is forced out of lane though.
Seems like both Q and Nurture are actually going to go for the tower dive here. Mordekaiser misses Q.
Yeah, the flash comes out and Lee Sin takes it. That's already 2 down for UCEI though.
Lee Sin is going to get executed here. Obviously extremely good for Aurora. And Mordekaiser is going to miss this entire wave under his tower. Does seem like Aurora is going to not shove in this wave. Instead, just back because she is cognizant that Mordekaiser has that TP.
However, this could be bad for the UCLA jungle, especially with how Jax has been picking up so many of UCLA's camps. Oh, meanwhile, Rel getting in, diving the Nautilus, and Ignite comes down as well. Jin rooted, but does manage to flash out as well. Now Jax coming in, stunning the Rel. Does Rel make it out here? Also diving flash as well.
Oh
Yes, she
my
does.
goodness.
That's a great trade by UCLA side.
Do you see what I was talking about there with the Nautilus passive rooting for just so slightly, and then in that time frame, Kaylin can actually place a trap there to enhance that root. Just overall, really dangerous combination of abilities.
That was a really nice skill shot dodge there by the Aurora, though. I wish I had those kind of top laners in my games.
He nearly misses. Could have been just a solo kill right there for always bats or always baits. No one knows.
It's
No
like
one will ever know.
Patrick Bateman. But yeah, he did try to do the Q-E combo. Typically, we see Mordekaisers do E and then a Q immediately afterwards with the E confirming. But sometimes throwing out the Q first can really help you get against it.
Redline somehow hits there. We do see Orianna QWing. Lee Sin just in time with that safeguard.
Corki
Nothing
is
out of
very
that.
brave, immediately diving back into the fray. Throwing up the sad B emote. Unfortunately, he has missed his quarry. Ooh, Aurora is getting dived, but she does have the luxury of the tower right there to save her. Looks like Mordekaiser is up though with Death Realm. If the Aurora pushes out too much, she could get caught. Be really
Honestly, Mordekaiser's really smart here, getting that Dorn's shield instead of the ring, knowing that Aurora's gonna play poke. And in all honesty, it doesn't seem like she's doing that well.
You know, see the battle of the domains here with Aurora very recently reaching level 6. Uish Tenkai, as they say.
Is that from an anime?
It's from Jujutsu Kaisen.
I never watched that.
So,
Does seem like 0718 is an extremely aggressive mid laner, not really afraid to step up in front of Orianna's space even when he's that low of HP.
ooh, looks like the dynamic trio are coming in to take Drake. But Jax and Mordekaiser do seem to grab Void Grubs. What do you think is more important here, the Drake or that Void damage to towers?
In all honesty, I think those grubs are more important, at least for the early game. Late game, obviously, Drake is going to be much more pivotal. Just for this early game, which UCR actually does have the comp advantage in. Those grubs are just going to help them take towers much more easier.
Poor little Void Mites, absolutely decimated. Now he takes his back.
Jax going to reset. We see some pings coming here bot lane. Is Lee Sin going to stay? Lee Sin is going to stay right here. Cancels the recall.
They are
Never
fighting
mind.
over They're fighting over vision of that bottom
Continues
push.
that recall. This is W.
Aware of the Rel. Rel does
Never
hit
mind.
her-
Lee Sin has canceled. Recall. Q's in. Is going to take that Q.
Oh, could this be a dead Nautilus? Oh, maybe not. The
Seems
Caitlyn does.
not.
The nice trap placement by Caitlyn does prevent the rest of them from pushing up, lest they get headshotted.
See a Dark Seal here from Orianna. Maybe a bit cocky in spite of being 0-1 here.
Yeah, she's gonna really need her jungler's help if she wants to get the Corki. The Corki has proven himself to be really good at getting out of tight situations. With the Lee Sin's help, of course, but fly high, flying ace, fly high.
Do see the CS on all lanes right here relatively even. Aurora ahead by a tiny bit as expected. Long range versus melee.
Yeah.
Seeing a freeze here, not wanting to have those minion waves crash into the tower. This is setting up actually for a gank here.
Yeah, it looks like Lee Sin is coming up. Ooh, with Caitlyn and Nautilus push up really far. Ooh, Rel hits the big fag Q, stunning Nautilus, and Lee Sin pulls up and ready to absolutely decimate the opposition.
Flash coming in from Caitlyn here are gonna
This could
collapse
be it.
onto Nautilus. The slows from
2,
Jinx are
3, 4.
oh my
Caitlyn going.
goodness. Caitlyn narrowly survives. Jack survives. W lands, rooting
But
Jax.
this could be his last action. Ooh, that's what I was talking about. Jax does have the ability to, with his Q, to jump to anything. So he does make it out of there alive. But the Corki shows up, diving the Caitlyn and maybe potentially the Jax as well.
Oh my
Oh
goodness,
my
that kick
God.
into the wall narrowly saves Q's life. Kind of interesting why Oriana's hasn't been pushing into tower here, chooses to recall instead.
Oh, you can see the QE combo come out. Very, very unconventional of you, Mordekaiser.
Honestly, that could have been a kill for UCLA onto Jax here, but we saw him use his ultimate. The more champions that are surrounding Jax when he ults, that's more armor and MR from him. I'm pretty sure that allowed him to survive that fight there.
While Aurora, ooh, getting in very much here. Looks like she is in Mordekaiser's domain, but she pops her own as well. Battle of the domains, we'll see who wins here. Mordekaiser is very close to her junglers in a tower as well. And looks like the Jax has shown up. Oof, with all that pressure, the Aurora does go down, and Mordekaiser regains control over his lane.
You see pings coming in from UCL here, notifying them of Nautilus's top side presence, mid side presence, sorry. Might come into a clash here with Rel. Never mind.
The Corki flying high. Yeah, the Orianna really has been bullied out of her lane, especially with Corki's little missiles. This could be really difficult for her to regain priorities. Looks like she is going bottom to maybe help out with a potential gank, or to trio up to maybe grab control over that lane.
Meanwhile,
Oriana comes in to take some CS, goes back mid. Great.
I've heard of the jungle tax, but I've never heard of the mid tax before. I guess the economy is hard on everyone, even robots now.
Does seem like that was some tempo loss to Oriana there, having Jax take care of the wave. As she wastes her time moving bot, then going back to mid. Corki spotted out by this ward here.
Yeah, one of the most important things actually in League isn't necessarily CS or vision, but it's time. The time spent doing
Exactly.
some things could really lead to the battle shifting in one side's favor, especially if someone is using their time inefficiently with wasting CS with it. Now Aurora is back, but is down a level as well due to getting killed by Mordekaiser. She is absolutely shoving the waves towards him though. I guess this is the problem with playing into a ranged top laner. And Corki, the lone king of mid lane, stands there menacingly. Absolutely posted up. This is your lane? No, this is my lane.
Do you
Says
see
the flying
Corki here
ace.
sitting on 2,000 gold actually? Still not choosing to bat. Because we do know that Oriana's wave clear is extremely strong. Backing without TP would be detrimental to his CS.
It looks like his first back is now. Oh, it looks like UCR really is trying to get those void grubs. I guess they're going to try and force out this game early. No, they are kind of stronger in the late game, that is for sure. Now Aurora is applying pressure, telling the Lee Sin, come here. They're trying to take your void grubs. Looks like the dynamic duo of Rel and Lee Sin are going to grab the void grubs as well. Maybe this will be a 3-3 void grub trade. With neither
Corki
side.
zoning out Oriana here. We might see a fight there. Dredgeline nearly misses.
Corki.
Lee Sin goes in, lands a Q. Rel ults. Aurora ults. Oh my goodness, what was that big burst of damage? I don't even know what that was.
I think that was the Aurora ult going down, and then Lee Sin jumping, absolutely weaving his way through the units and getting a double kill. This is a really, really bad trade
Honestly,
for UCR.
in spite of Nautilus having just that better one-on-one engage, I think Rel ultimate combined with Aurora ultimate is just so strong here.
Yes, that was both ults going down right there, sucking them all in and then getting grabbed by the Aurora ultimate.
So see that Corki art coming in, just absolutely dealing so much damage with that splash. Aurora might get caught out here by Mordekaiser.
Ooh, that was a good E, jumping out of the way just in the nick of time. And does not want any more of that smoke.
See, Drake is up. Lee Sin might be pathing, might be doing a top clear recall into Drake.
Now they're fighting for vision over bot. That's a lot of wards and traps placed. I guess bot is really the place where you want to see the most, especially with Drake being there. That's a sick Jin skin. Sorry guys, I'll have to take a quick break and admire this. Look at him spinning his gun. Looking to get the 4th shot off. Maybe onto the Caitlyn, maybe onto some poor suspecting melee unit. Who knows? But Caitlyn ult comes out really early, I'd say, right? With no way of following that up. Only tickles the Jinx a little.
Not too sure
Jhin
why
alone.
she did that. Might be trying to get Jhin lower for a potential Drake take.
But I mean, there's no point, right? Like, Nautilus is off to be found, and the Rel could be right there. That was really interesting choice
Honestly,
from her.
just confusing. Will Jhin be able to cancel Caitlyn's recall here with a W? Oh wait, never mind.
He doesn't notice.
Pings coming out from UCLA. We do see Jax pathing topwards. Aurora most likely going to get caught out here.
Now Drake is
Drake
being
is
taken by the
uncontested
dynamic
as
trio.
well.
Yeah, Caitlyn wasting her ult there could have maybe done something here, but I guess not. Now with 2 dragons up, they are only 1 Drake away from Dragon Point. Soul Point, so it will be really interesting. Now with turret plating fallen, there is no more opportunity to get plating for more gold, but both lanes are going to really have to rely on their waves.
So you see some bottling action going on here.
Oh,
Will
Caitlyn, unaware of the people
Caitlyn
playing the push.
absolutely decimated by that Q ult combo coming in from both Lee Sin and Rel.
Yeah, now Corki has shown up, absolutely diving the Nautilus right now. Ooh, poor Nautilus getting chunked. One last rocket finishes the job. UCLA really is dominating in all aspects of the map right now, but maybe not so much top.
Honestly, I thought that UCR would really get that advantage, but it just seems like UCLA is on another plane when it comes to macro gameplay.
Definitely, they have so much map awareness and control, especially over bottom. Oh,
Jax is going to go in on Lee Sin here, lands the stun,
but
Lee Sin
doesn't have enough
turns.
damage to take him out. Ooh, Mordekaiser maybe have been caught out a little bit. I think his W popped early.
Amazing sidestep series by Nurture is going to get put into the realm by Mordekaiser, Lee Sin camps.
At least right out.
Honestly, just these 1v1s by Mordekaiser not looking that well. Aurora with amazing sidestepping. I mean, if you're going against someone that knows how to sidestep, Mord is essentially just not that good. You only rely on your autos.
You see that one April Fool's patch where he E's in all directions? He could use some of that right now, that's for sure.
Oh god, bro.
Yeah, Mord buff one. Meanwhile, with Herald and 3 Grubs, does look like UCLA is in the business of taking almost every single objective. They're going to have a really strong turret game right now, especially with Herald.
Honestly, really interesting. I'm just noticing that Jhin and Caitlyn are taking barrier and not heal. Probably just way more aware of those dive possibilities coming in from Nautilus and Rel. Nautilus does seek out Rel here.
Ooh, missed the Q, but does hit the E. It looks
He's
like
going to engage. We see Jhin and Corki maybe heading bot side. Never mind. Blast Cone is going to get taken.
Barrier is projected to get nerfed soon, have you heard?
I did not hear that. No.
Yeah, I don't know. They mentioned something about ADCs being too tanky, but I mean, in this meta, especially with damage items being nerfed, that could be the case. Ooh, nice flash, dodging the Nautilus Q. I don't know if that penguin emote is in the right situation here. And now
Do you think that was worth though for UCR? Really taking out that ADC flash is going to be extremely important here.
an issue now with Jax pulled up as well. They do gain vision control of the tri-bush here. And especially with the wave pushing up, this could be a very difficult position for UCLA's tower. But the Lee Sin does show up as well to intervene in this ongoing crisis. Oh, meanwhile, Lee Sin does hit his level 11. His ultimate level is now 2 levels, so he could really put in some pressure, especially in these team fights.
Seeing again once
Oh
of these
my
many
God.
skirmishes coming out from Aurora and Mordekaiser. Q does land here, barely does any damage actually, just his damage output is way too low.
Yeah, he only has Primaris right now, no other damage points, but that is a very good QE. Or does pop her ult though. He's probably going to want to get out of this situation. Oh, unfortunately. With Flash off cooldown, she does not manage to get out.
First tower is going to be taken here by UCLA with that Rift Herald.
And Riptail going down, lowering his head, absolutely ready. Bam! Down goes
They
the
decide to
tower.
go in. We see Q's onto Nautilus. Nautilus is
Oh
going
my
to get taken
God.
out first.
Oh, with the Rift Herald drifting. Oh my god. I know we had Formula 1 drivers in this team.
Right onto Oriana next, man. It's just one by one by one.
One by one by one. Now, even now, with the Herald, they should be able to take this tower down as well.
Honestly confused as to why UCR decided to group there so heavily, especially with Rel around.
Yeah, and the Herald too. The Herald charge is no joke to laugh at. Yeah,
Looking at this replay here.
oh my god, that Herald goes down, starts taking tower shots. This buys enough time for both the Rel and the Corki to get in. Now Rel ult comes down, little drive-by by the Rift Herald, and UCR gets absolutely decimated by
You
this.
saw the Oriana ulti. They were trying to allow Ori and Jax to survive. Just 0 damage, absolutely nothing. Still holding on to that Dark Seal for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know about that Dark Steel, man. You haven't got any stacks with it. Might be worth its weight in gold instead of stacks at this point.
Now it's really becoming apparent why UCR decided to target ban Gyu here. 8-1-3, absolutely just decimating Jax in the entirety of UCR.
They're gonna need one more ban if they want to get Lee Sin out of there.
Exactly.
Ooh, now top tower also falls as well. UCR is getting heavily pressured on all sides.
Flash is going to come out from Aurora here.
Yeah, trying to get out of the...
Corki bursting down
Corki,
Oriana,
oh my
absolutely just
God.
one-shotting her.
The Red Baron has shown up to claim another victim. Ooh, narrowly missing the R though, unfortunate. But
Letting Aurora take this one as he pushes in top lane.
look at the footsies. oh
Could
my
be a
God.
mistake though. Or Corki, why did you leave Oriana? Why'd you leave Aurora? Okay, never mind.
Never mind. He knows Aurora's got this one back. Ooh, especially with Drake down as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yo.
Caitlyn Flashes is going to get a double kill here as well. 930 gold just for Caitlyn.
But trading a Jackson to that's really unfortunate.
Shutdowns onto Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Could
This could potentially turn the tide. This could be what they need to
Exactly.
get back into the game, especially having lost so many objectives. However, UCLA does have a 10k gold leader, so it might be a little more difficult than just one shutdown to get them back.
honestly, with Soul Point 10k gold lead, I'm really failing to see how UCR turns this one around. Replay here coming in. Caitlyn's gonna ult.
Aurora does hit Q and E in rapid succession, but before she can jump away, the Caitlyn does manage to get a beat on her. Now going bot lane, it looks like Lee Sin is going to take the bot tower and quickly run away, hopefully to reset maybe. I think at this point Rel could start going other lanes, but I guess there really is no point for her in doing so, especially with how much every lane has been winning so far.
Definitely. I do see UCLA here potentially starting Baron. Could be too early, but really just forcing out more fights. They're ahead in almost every single metric right now. Basically a guaranteed win if they just play it out
Yeah.
sensibly.
Well, it looks like, I think UCR is really going to go for Baron here. They could use this one, especially with being so down. They're going to start fighting for control over
However, I
vision.
will say that going for Baron right here might be a death wish, especially because of the Baron damage at 20 minutes. Not going to be that tankable.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely true. Their comp doesn't have a whole lot of tanks except for Nautilus, and Nautilus is off mid doing his own farm. Meanwhile, Jax poked. Going back for the recall, but it doesn't look like UCLA does have any other follow-ups. Now Rel hopping over like a bar table, looking to start a Baron fight. Oriana does appear to be aware of this though, and it looks like UCR is not going to get down Baron without a fight.
Honestly, just look at UCLA's vision top jungle. It's just taking so much time for them to clear. Caitlyn ult is going to come in, does negative damage to Rel. Judgeline goes in, Rel R goes in.
Oh my god, this is another...
Focuses Fanjin first. Oh, however, Oriana ult is going to lead to Lee Sin's destruction. We do know that Lee Sin was carrying these team fights early on.
But I don't think
Caitlyn
that
is going to
matters
get
at this
taken out here. We see the fight on the left side. Jax is taken down, Corki's taken down.
Mordekaiser is very strong now, especially with Corki's stolen stats. So maybe Jin will have to poke poke and run away from this one. That was a really good fight, as you could see, especially the Rel, Corky, and Aurora ult combo is basically unstoppable.
Fourth ult shot nearly missing Oriana
But the
here.
fifth one misses too, unfortunately. Come on, Mordekaiser, you're gonna pick. More just doesn't die at this point. Oh my god, back for more.
Oh my goodness,
Oh.
Mord is actually so strong right now.
Come on, Rel, get away. No! Ah, and Mord takes a triple kill, unfortunately.
Shortens that gold lead to only 8k now on UCLA's side.
That was crazy. I almost thought UCLA had this one in the bag, especially when that ult combo
Are we
came
going to
down.
see a replay here? We will.
Look at that.
Leeson, we do see Leeson actually pushing Oriana into the backline here. Actually help them maybe.
Yeah, Leeson
Oriana
getting
gets the
caught
space out here.
Leeson getting caught out really even the scales of this fight, especially with how he's been carrying the team fights recently, as he said. Now,
Honestly, this just could have been so good if Jin landed that fourth ult shot onto Oriana. Or even Mord.
well, definitely look at that. His ult was doing most of the damage to Mordekaiser. Without it, they couldn't have killed him.
I'm not too sure here why they were actually focusing different targets, it seems. See, now, Rel could have just easily killed Mord there, but decides to go on Oriana instead.
Yeah, that is true. With Oriana doesn't pose as much of a threat as the Mord does right now, especially. They should have just narrowed their sights onto one big target. Now going back to mid, it does look like Leeson and Jin are gonna start taking some vision bottom. Maybe they're gonna try and get that soul, especially with 3 Drakes already.
Hextech Soul is going to be important here at slowing them down and helping UCLA engage in those team fights. See Nautilus trying to clear some vision. In all honesty though, look at Rel here with 85 vision score compared to Nautilus's only 60 vision score.
He's been slacking.
I mean, look at Oriana's vision score as well, 6.
Too busy collecting tithes. Oh, looks like Nocturne ult has hit our broadcast. Can't see anything. So, what do you think about the game so far? This is really
Honestly,
engaging.
In line with our predictions, UCLA.
Really engaging so far. It does look like that the game, we are experiencing some technical difficulties, but hopefully our wonderful
Okay, never mind, we're back into the game here.
Mordekaiser showing up, hitting W, does almost take 2. It looks like they are converging. And Jax jumping in onto the Jin. Jin does take it though, but he does escape the Mordekaiser as well, hitting his 5th shot with W.
Could he go back in? I don't think Lee Sin's gonna go back in. UCR will be able to take this Drake. Honestly, Mord is becoming quite a problem right now. However, as they go further into the late game, Jin is just gonna pose bigger and bigger of threats.
Wait, maybe we could see a potential steal here, especially with Smite off.
However, they are smart. They're gonna be placing traps around this dragon and also pulling it
Oh, Lee Sin
outwards.
going in. Oh, he gets the steal! This is huge! Oh my god. Now
Was there a
at some
shutdown?
point-
Was there a shutdown on Lee Sin? I don't think so.
No,
It's
he
not
already
even
got,
that bad.
shut down previously by the Mordekaiser in the last team fight. This
Not
is
even
huge.
that bad.
Great job, GUI, or should I call you the GOAT? Yeah, look at that team.
Look at this
fight.
replay again. Ult.
You can see
Was that a 5-man reload? 5-man reload
Yes,
going
you
in.
can
However, unable to capitalize on it instantly.
Jin, you gotta learn to count, man. He keeps missing his first shot, unfortunately. Letting that Lee Sin escape right here turns out to be their biggest mistake, especially because he's the only person who could technically actually contest that objective with his smite.
In all honesty, I think UCLA was trying to go for the Caitlyn and Orion their backline, just couldn't finish them off. Mordekaiser just acting as that barrier right here. Just so strong, unable to break through.
And here we see Lee Sin popping over the wall and smiting. Does not manage to get away, but does manage to get the soul for his team, as well as denying a very critical objective for UCR.
Not too sure why Caitlyn placed those traps so close to Drake, especially because Smite is a ranged summoner spell.
Oh, it looks like the Baron fight has started already. Ooh, heavy damage on the Jin already. And the Rel. Oh,
Another 5-man Relos going in,
Lee
Aurora
Sin
landing in.
popping in. Ooh,
Absolutely insane damage coming in
triple.
from Aurora. That's going to be a triple for Aurora.
I think this could be GG's, honestly, especially with the entire team dead.
Ignoring the
and 40
Baron is going to
seconds.
go for that
Yeah.
game end here.
I think this could be it, yes, especially with Corky getting in. It seems like UCLA will take this first game securely in the bag.
No, honestly, this was the predicted winner. This
So-
was the predicted winner here. Not too surprised, even though UCR did have that better draft in my opinion.
This, so, I guess it really did help that the game ended so early, because we did talk about in the beginning that if this game drags on, UCR is definitely better predicted to win this. However, through Lee Sin's really great use of his ganks as well as the Jhin and Rel holding priority on the bot lane, it really helped them get all those objectives and ultimately secure the victory.
Yeah, definitely. I think Lee Sin just played extremely well macro there. I mean, Gyu is Grandmaster. I think that might be one of the highest ranks
Yeah,
out of all the
definitely,
players here. And I'm pretty sure you actually played with him before. So
I'm
you
honored
can-
to be in his presence.
Zandy can personally attest to how good of a player Gyu is.
Oh, definitely.
I think he just really set up UCLA for victory there. Who else did really good? Aurora later on.
The Aurora Rel ult combo, and with the Corki, just absolutely shredded all the squishies.
Honestly, I think it was just Rel ult pulling them all in, giving Aurora the ability to do a bunch of splash damage, Corki ultimate as well with the splash damage. Honestly, I don't know how UCR could have played that differently.
Yeah, at the beginning, low-key, I was a little bit scared of their comp, but it really does look like they thought this one out, especially with the triple combination of these ults. They could dominate any team fight.
Definitely, I think UCR, I think they really should have spaced out more there, knowing Rel's ultimate, even though she does have a lot of mobility and engage abilities, her R is still relatively limited in range.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's a really good thing that UCLA capitalized on these tight team formations to help really bring it out. I thought I'd see more of the Nautilus ult breaking up team fights,
Yeah,
but it does look like he did get bursted down and focused before each
I
team
think
fight.
UCR really could have leveraged that Nautilus utility more, maybe just to get a pick on UCLA's ADC or Lee Sin even, but I didn't see many of those Nautilus ults there during team fights.
Yeah, I think this is just a really great performance by UCLA as a whole, especially how they leverage their abilities in the team fight.
And especially considering that UCLA has only been a team for, 5 weeks right now? We're 5 weeks into the quarter. Tryouts were first,
Yeah.
second week, I think.
This was a game with two entirely new teams on both sides. So yeah, I'm really happy that UCLA brought this one together.
No bias here.
Well, you know how it is for me.
We're from UCR. I think we're gonna close this one out.
But yeah, thank
we
you for
will have
watching
a
game one.
we will have a second game. I think that is, what is that gonna be?
that'll be in a couple of minutes.
That
and
is gonna be Berkeley versus SD. We do know that SD and I have been historically really strong. I'm gonna be predicting that SD will take the victory over Berkeley. However, we do know that both these teams have done some restructuring within their programs, and it's honestly just really unpredictable.
All right, so we're just gonna wrap it up here, and thanks for watching game one, guys.
Let's say you're deep in a show, or a game, or the game, on a train, at home, at work. Okay, maybe not at work. Point is, at Xfinity, we're constantly engineering new ways to get the entertainment you love to you faster and easier than ever. That's what I do. Is that Love Island?
I got it,
Welcome back, everyone, to the University of California Esports Initiative online invitational bracket, presented by Xfinity. I'm Zaid. I'll be one of your casters today.
And I'm Anthony, your other caster.
So today, or right now, in our game 2, we have UC Berkeley versus UCSD, and that's our third seed versus our sixth seed. Anthony, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're looking for in terms of the matchup here?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of interesting things going on with this matchup. And kind of a lot of this was kind of mirrored in last game, where you have a lot of like roster shakeups, right? You have people promoting from JV to varsity, and so that kind of has like new blood in the game, right? And there's no shortage of that here in match 2. Here in UC Berkeley, there's only one returning player. Their jungler, Dark Lord 70, which is a really cool name. And so he's going to be the one returning player for the UC Berkeley team. And the rest of them, it's like, for example, Juicebox, their top laner, he's a new player and he hasn't played in the competitive scene before. So we can definitely look at his performance and see, you know, if he does really well here. And their support player on the UC Berkeley team as well kind of has some unique picks, and so he might try those out. So I think a lot of experimenting, a lot of like testing the waters here for UC Berkeley with their new roster. So good luck to them. They are the third seed in the tournament, as you mentioned.
And for those of you guys at home, in case you don't know, the seeding in this tournament is based essentially on rank, so aggregate rank. UC Berkeley is a little bit higher at like a 4.4 or something, and UCSD is somewhere at like a 4.2. So pretty close matchup here in terms of skill.
Yeah.
But we'll see kind of here if UC Berkeley's slight edge in terms of pure rankings is going to kind of pull them through against UCSD's kind of historic dominance of this tournament.
Speaking of UCSD here, right, of course they are the 6th seed in the tournament, but not that far behind UC Berkeley. They were the runner-up at last year's UCEI, and they have been like the only team to actually win, or they've been the only team to make finals like pretty much every year since UCEI's creation. UCI as well, also like the first seed, I believe, in the tournament. So UCSD is often going to be like the finalist right behind UCI. But, you know, again, there's these roster shakeups. And so actually there are no returning varsity players for UC San Diego. 4 players of JV, they moved up to varsity. And again, it's 2 brand new players, so kind of like how UC Berkeley had it. UCSD also has history in other tournaments, right? They went to the Collegiate League of Legends tournament, and they placed, or they're right now even top 16 in the warm-up, and they can do pretty good at that. They were top 16 last year. So as we go to our drafts here, it looks so far pretty interesting. Do you want to tell us a little bit about their team comp so far?
Yeah, so it looks like right now we have the Skarner, Ari, and Ezreal for the picks on the side of UC Berkeley, and we have the Jarvan, Corki, Oriana, and now the Rakan on the side of UCSD. And so it looks like UC Berkeley is looking for a little bit more of a skirmishy comp kind of here. They're looking for a lot of side lane pressure, especially with that Skarner. You know, he could be coming over a wall at any moment. While meanwhile, UCSD is going to be kind of here with a lot of strong poke. You have the Jarvan, you have the Jace, you have the Oriana, you have the Corki. That's really going to kind of batter down UC Berkeley in these prolonged engagements.
100%. So much engaged, so much follow-up from UC San Diego here, right? Or yeah. You're gonna have Rakan with this ultimate. You're gonna have Rakan W in. You're gonna have the Shockwave from the Oriana. Of course, J4 Jarvan just gonna get on to somebody, onto one of these squishies. Who do you think are some good targets for them to go for on the opposing team?
Yeah, it is a little tough because the Ezreal, the Ahri are going to be very mobile here. But definitely, I think if they can get that Ezreal down, that's a lot of UC Berkeley's sustained damage down there. And that's going to do them a lot of favors in terms of kind of pulling that team fight through to the end.
Yeah.
And actually, I think one thing I find really interesting about this draft as well is that they have a Fiora as well. So kind of playing less into that into that team fight. I feel like in this draft, like we've been saying, they're definitely stronger in the team fights. So maybe they're specking a little bit into like, okay, can we skirmish? Can we like get picks in the side lanes? Fiora, of course, like a pretty good laner, but in the team fights, she's a little bit weaker. Um,
Definitely.
and so she'll be going against the Jace though, but Jace, one half of his kit is ranged, right? And so we'll have to see if the Fiora can get some lane dominance as like the premier 1v1 champ, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a skill matchup
For sure.
in the top lane here. Notably, another thing is that the Orianna on on red side for UCSD here is going to be somewhat immobile. So definitely for the Skarner, for the Blitzcrank, they're going to look to shut down that Orianna as a major source of like burst damage and kind of team fight follow up here for UCSD.
Yeah. I think a lot of this game will come down to whether they're able to find those picks. Because if they can't, then talking about, okay, maybe let's like talk win conditions, right? I think if UCSD here can't get a lot of fights off, how do you think the scaling is for like each respective team here?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning a little bit towards UCSD here. They have the Jace. The Corki maybe is not scaling so as well as the Ezreal, but I just don't really see the Ari and the Skarner necessarily being able to pull you through in the late game team fights, and especially the Fiora is just it's going to be a little bit tough to navigate those.
Yeah.
I think definitely UC Berkeley here, they're looking for they really want those early game grubs. I think if they can put a lot of pressure, get those early game leads, get those early advantages, that's kind of what's going to pull them through and just kind of try to get to close this game out fast.
Yeah. I think that's a really good thing to keep note of, right? Whether they can get the game out fast, because they will suffer a little bit maybe in the late game. As for each individual lane, we already kind of talked about like the Fiora, right? But you could also look at, okay, the bot lane, right? So it's going to be Ezreal Blitzcrank from Berkeley, and it's going to be Rakan Corki. So Corki in the bot lane, what do you think of that?
Yeah, Corki in the bot lane, we were definitely seeing that a lot earlier in the season. So kind of, I forget when, I want to say like over the summer, early summer, there was that 1 or 2 patches where Corki was really, really strong. And then kind of in professional play, we were seeing that like double AD carry, like Corki Trist, Skarner Sejuani like meta. This might be, kind of a comfort pick for UCSD. Maybe just, they got really comfortable playing with the Corgi during that time. It's also maybe just kind of leading into this sort of idea of this poke comp. I think definitely the Jace and the Corki together, like we said, are going to be really tough.
100%. I guess returning to the state of both teams, right? I think maybe a predominant narrative that you could talk about with this matchup here is, okay, so like we were talking about, UCSD has a history of making finals at UCEI every year, right? But there's a lot of new blood in there. So are they going to continue that, right? Do they kind of have like good coaches and like good infrastructure? Is that why they're succeeding? Or has it been because of the player talent, right? Maybe that's this could be a case study of that, right? Because from UC Berkeley, they have won one time and they did make finals another time, but they haven't been dominating. They haven't been UCSD. They haven't been UCI. So now that they also have new people on their roster, is it maybe a new era for Berkeley, right? Is it maybe time for UCI to not dominate as much? Is it time for someone else to kind of take the reins here? A lot of new things happening. I think it's exciting for the future of this tournament here.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like there's going to be a slight delay in getting into the first game, the game here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other sort of analysis for this game?
Yeah. I guess with that, we had mentioned it earlier, kind of with the support, I think, from UC Berkeley with the unusual picks. Blitzcrank is interesting. Blitzcrank just appeared even in Worlds actually.
Yeah.
I believe believe BLG was the
I
Blitzcrank.
think.
Yeah, like
I'm
they
not
pulled
sure
that
though.
out.
Yeah, I definitely remember seeing a Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
I don't think Carrier has a Blitzcrank.
No,
He's not
Blitzcrank.
really,
I don't
yeah.
think it's in this pool. But BLG support pulled out that Blitzcrank, and I don't remember if they had actually won that game. But of course they took it 3-2, so or they lost 2-3. So obviously it was still like viable, and it got a lot of like value.
Mhm.
So with that said, I think we're gonna be heading into a break pretty soon because of the technical difficulties. But we will be right back with you shortly. All right. For this match too between UC Berkeley and UCSD. Very excited.
Yeah. Alright, welcome back guys to the UCEI Invitational presented by Xfinity. We're sorry for the technical difficulties with the last match, but unfortunately we are going to have to switch to UCI versus UCSB here. But we're going to jump straight into the draft. But real quick before that, Anthony, can you tell us a little bit about this matchup?
Yeah, for sure. So right now they're still currently picking their characters, but as far as for like the matchup between these two schools, it's going to be UCI versus UCSB, like you said. And UCI, I think we mentioned this last time, they are the first seed. Pretty predominantly they are the first seed. And they have a lot of challengers on their team. And they have made finals a lot, and I think they have maybe the most victories in UCEI. So definitely favorites, right? A little bit of like a David versus Goliath situation here maybe getting going. As we have our first picks, we have Udyr and Gragas, as well as Ashe and Jhin.
Yeah, definitely the Ashe, the Jhin. Pretty common picks that we're pretty used to seeing in this meta. It looks like UCI on blue side here is going to be hovering Tristana, and so they're going to be looking for that double AD carry comp, most likely that we've been seeing kind of throughout the year. And UCSB is going to match that with the Sylas. Which is going to be an interesting mid matchup. Admittedly, I'm not super familiar with the nuances of like AD mid versus like Sylas, because I know Sylas is very like a weird mid matchup, especially into mages. You know, he's a little bit unpredictable.
100%. Yeah. This Tristana mid, it's it kind of, Riot tried to gut that like ADC is going mid, but it still sneaks its way through, of course. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that matchup goes. I think you're right that, I think to some degree it's a little bit of like unknown territory maybe. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so, really quickly getting through the rest of the picks here, we got the Cassiopeia from the side of UCI, and looks like that's going to go top, interestingly, into the Gragas, which is going to be definitely an interesting matchup. And then we got the Leona and the Maokai, respectively, on support. And that's going to be really interesting.
I think Jhin Leona looks very strong, but I think, with Ashe slowing and then the Maokai maybe peeling a little bit or getting some good roots off, I don't know. It's not totally completely maybe favored. Do you think like in this bot lane matchup, the Jhin and the Rel like maybe a little bit stronger, or would you disagree with that?
I think definitely in the all-in, the Jhin and the Leona are just going to have that superior lockdown, especially in the 2v2. But UCSB's comp here, it looks like, especially with the Vi and with the Gragas too, they're looking a lot for picks here, like very, very heavy on the picks. That Ashe arrow, the Maokai ult, and the Vi ult is just going to be really annoying for the carries on the side of UCI. Luckily for them, they do have two of them. So that's kind of like a double threat there. Meanwhile, on the side of UCI, it looks like we just got a lot of damage here. So definitely the Cassiopeia is going to be a pretty big AP threat if she can get online. And of course the Tristana and the Jhin are just going to be pumping out damage in those fights, with Udyr and Leona kind of as that strong front line that's going to be able to kind of soak a lot of that damage.
I think, like you said, double ADC, they're going to be pumping out damage, so it's definitely on UCSB here to try and get those valuable targets, but as well as the Casio is going to pump out a bunch of damage and slow them. So it's definitely on them to get the CC on those targets, find those picks in those team fights, or else, you know, maybe maybe you're going to end up losing the game. But it is hard. You have Udyr and the Leona, especially Leona to tank a lot of this. But I do like it. As far as for the Sylas, what do you think the Sylas ultimates are going to be like? What do you think are his valuable picks for that?
Yeah, it's a little interesting here because I feel like a lot of comps, you can definitely see the Sylas is looking for some very specific ults. This comp, it's kind of hard to see what you'd want to pick, because the Trist and the Jhin are maybe not super useful in the Sylas. Definitely, I think the biggest prio is going to be that Casio ult. You know, a Sylas engaged with a Casio ult on top of it is going to be pretty deadly, you know, kind of just leaving you open there to sort of whatever.
Right.
The Leona ult could definitely be situationally useful. You know, maybe you get on top of someone, you drop an ult, and then they're stunned for a little longer. You can definitely get all that damage out, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. So, you know, assuming, you know, maybe they took the Leona ult, that's going to be so much CC on them. That's going to be like, you know, maybe Ashe Arrow, maybe Maokai Root, Vi, R, like whatever. Even like maybe Gragas pushing you into the team and getting you with his R.
Yeah. What do you
so
think,
much.
What do we think about the kind of the side lane pressure from each team? Because I know, especially the Gragas is going to be a big side lane threat. The Sylas is usually pretty strong in the side lane as well. Meanwhile, the Trist and the Casio, or maybe less so the Casio, but the Trist is definitely going to be a little squishy, a little bit scary to kind of be solo in the side lane, especially later in the game with those burst-heavy champions.
I think the Triss is going to need a little bit of backup, maybe having her jungler Udyr like hovering around whenever she's trying to farm these waves. But there is good wave clear from the Trist, of course, and I think she can like maybe split push a lot and try and get value from the tower damage that she can just put out that her character is known to do.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, there's always that panic button, the ult. But it looks like we are going to be jumping into the game.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn.
My opinion.
Right now, both teams just in their own respective jungles, basically, or a little bit close to river. I'm just trying to face off in case of any potential invades, covering most of the little pockets.
Not really so much positioning to invade here. I think both teams are kind of just respecting their, you know, strong level ones. I think definitely on the side of UCSB, you don't really want to be getting into a level 1 scuffle against Casio, Trist, Jhin. They can definitely pump out surprising amounts of damage there.
Yep. Both teams having respected that, I think now they're just heading to their own lanes. We're going to have both junglers starting in topside jungle, and so that means they are ideally probably going to path bot, and so that could even be a face-off, right? We were already talking about earlier where, you know, this bot lane might be a little bit volatile. Already they're kind of trading. But 2 engage supports down there. And so with the junglers both pathing down, it's definitely looking to possibly be a fight there brewing later in this match.
Yeah.
you can see that they're like unforgiving here, already doing a lot of trades there.
Yeah.
But
As it looks like we're running into a little bit of technical difficulties here. But yeah, definitely, like you said, we're already seeing the early trades from the bot lane. I think before the stream cut, we saw the Maokai getting a little bit low. I think that's going to be pretty crucial, especially with both junglers pathing bot, I think, to kind of make something happen there.
yeah, we'll have to see the outcome of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to be returning to the game now.
First
As we have a first blood to the Maokai.
Yeah, and we'll see if maybe production can get a replay. But meanwhile, Jin here is going to be looking for the kill on the Ashe, but unfortunately has to reload. And Ashe and Maokai are going to try to crash this wave and deny as much CS as they can.
That is 2 kills for UC Santa Barbara. We were just talking David and Goliath. Could UCSB even put a dent as the Silas is trying to put a dent into the Tristana, putting quite a large gap in that health bar, chucking her down, but she is safe. As I was saying, right, David versus Goliath, it looks like David's winning a little bit now.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like UCSB may have found their slingshot as we're going to go to a replay here. As we can just see the Leona just kind of got bursted down. Leona definitely in the early levels, not going to have that W, going to be very squishy. Meanwhile, it's a pretty clean kill on the Jhin there, especially with that Ashe early game damage.
Yeah, I think
going to have to take that back and go TP back. Meanwhile, Silas, looking to kind of clear this wave, maybe even save a TP. And with a little fight in the jungle, looks like the Vi is a little bit caught out here. Flashes, and Udyr follows. The Maokai comes in, gets the root, but unfortunately Vi is going to go down. Unfortunately for the side of UCSB there.
that's flash just burnt from each team respectively, with a kill returned from UCI. So of course, they got first blood UCSB and they got another kill after that, but obviously game's not over. They still need to really play, I think, play to their advantages here in this comp. As we see here.
Yeah, Minato Aqua going to take a kind of heavy trade there in the top lane, and it's lane's in a very favorable position. You can see, that it's pushing. Aqua might even have a chance to set up a freeze here. And meanwhile, I think the Greg is going to have to TP back. And so I'm sure we'll... there we go. That's the burn TP. As we're going to get into a quick scuffle again with Scuttle Crab. And it looks like kind of the same old story. That meteor damage is going to be really, really high, and they're just going to really quickly burst down the Vi.
That is a pretty big mistake from the Vi there. I think she's going to get a little bit behind.
Especially getting caught out the same way twice for that Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
Is tough, and you don't want to be behind on Vi. Vi is definitely, that early game snowball champion. You need that gold in order to be able to efficiently get those picks.
Of course. Like we were saying, kind of maybe perhaps a win condition for them is getting really good fights and skirmishes, looking for those team fights. But getting caught out, right? Of course, not part of the plan.
Yeah.
But that's okay, still in the game. Dragon is up. We'll have to see, which team maybe prefers to play around that, as a couple of trades here in top lane. Speaking of top lane, the Cassiopeia is up quite a significant amount of CS, but I think not up in items because the Gragas have actually bagged and needed to TP and everything, like you said. And it is hard for the Gragas. I mean, he's a melee champ against range champ, even though he does have like kind of some util to help him. As we here look at this bot lane, kind of just farming.
The Vi's going to hover top here. Definitely trying to ease the load off of Gragas here, and it looks like Aqua's just going to take the back here, out of mana, out of resources, and probably going to TP back.
Yeah, I think that's the correct move. I mean, you're just out of steam, might as well get your items and the TP back.
So you can see both Dragon and Grubs up here, and we have the Udyr pathing up towards the Grubs. We're going to see if, with that lane power from the Cassio, just TP back, with the item advantage, he's going to go for the Grubs, and it looks like he's going to start them. And so it remains to be seen if UCSB is going to try to match, with the Drake here.
Looks like they're just going to give the Grubs, have 3 of them, and it looks like the Vi is pinging the Drake, so they might be doing a little bit of cross-map objective trading, maybe. We'll have to see if maybe UCI even can stop this Drake. or they're just gonna give that and do the handshake. You know, okay, we get 3 grubs, you can get your first early Drake. Totally cool with us. Seems like that's what they're choosing.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Udyr, you know, Vi was a little late on the rotation, so the Udyr's going to get to steal a lot of those early camps, especially because the Vi is a little bit late in the clear, as Minato Aqua getting in a bit of a scuffle here, going to get pushed under tower, but not going to do too much as, you know, way up on health, and it looks like it's just going to be a chase down here. Jason's going to try to make something happen with the Gragas W on the E, but, you know, full vision here, and it looks like, you know, Minato Aqua is going to get that kill. A nice solo kill for the side of UCI.
Already that lane was a little bit behind for the Gragas, and I think getting that solo kill from the cast, that's even bigger. And that probably might turn into something eventually if she can largen that lead. As the Silas goes in here on the Tristana once again, but just gets R'd back. Not interested that Tristana.
Yeah, and so we were talking about this matchup earlier in the game, and it's looking like it's a little tough for the Trist because you want to be jumping in, you want to be hitting that W damage, you know, getting those W trades, you know, with the reset from the E, but it's kind of tough to be that close range into Silas. He can just kind of burst all his abilities at you. As it looks like Vi's going to go for a quick invade here with the Jin and Leona kind of hovering in the area. It looks like she's going to get that red buff and then sort of, you know, get out of there.
Yeah, I think earlier Vi's top camps were invaded by the Udyr, so I think the Vi's just responding to that. Might as well get your bot red. And even your Raptors here, as she's...
Yeah, and we might see a bit of an engagement. Let's see if we can see the Udyr with that sticking power, but gonna bait for the Silas there. And wow, you know, but this Udyr's just not taking enough damage, so now the Tristana's gonna get to go in. She's jumping, Vi goes down, jumping over to try to get into Silas. Silas flashes over, and is gonna get that Udyr, unfortunately with the chains, but it looks like Leona is gonna go in. You know, follows the rotate with the Maokai. Maokai 6 is gonna hit the double root. And they're still chasing, but it looks like they're not going to get anything for the side of UCI there.
Wow, that was cut really close. It ended up being maybe fine for both teams, kind of. I mean, obviously not favorable. You're going to get a kill for the Udyr, but I mean...
It is notably a 1-for-1 there.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have a replay coming. Yeah, so as we can see here, the Vi maybe getting a little bit greedy. You know, doesn't necessarily need to get those Raptors, but has the Silas here prepared. So we're gonna bait in the Udyr. But the Udyr kind of knows that he's a little ahead, he's a little tanky, so he's kind of able to sustain through here, and the Vi's gonna go down. And nice flash from the Silas. He's just gonna clean up that kill. And then Leona follows up. Silas almost going to go down, but then he does get out.
Some action here bot lane. We have a Jin root and a Leona stun. That's going to play out the flash from the ADC as they try and maybe turn this with their jungle here. Vi engaging. Udyr trying to get away. It looks like the Leona's going to fall. But can UCI get out of this? You're going to have the entire team bot lane. And it looks like the Udyr is caught out as well. And even Gragas ulted back into them. UCSB.
Yeah, and nice there, dropping the tower aggro. You know, UCSB got very, very low there on that 5-man, but, you know, manages to kind of manage the health resources accurately, and looks like Silas is going to get 1 or 2 plates here, and same thing for Zhao here on the Triss in the mid lane.
It's exactly what we were talking about, where I think UCSB, in order to win, they have to play around these good team fights, and they have to find out, or they have to find really good picks, because at that, they are very strong. We saw that. If they dump all their ultimates, all their cooldowns onto the enemies, especially with a numbers advantage, it's like, it's kind of hard to lose the fight. And it was close, but like, you know, the Gragas ult and the Leona ult and the Ashe ult, all of that, like, it's crazy. Okay, here we have the grubs.
Yeah, so UCI is going to start on the grubs. Notably, they've already gotten the 4, so they do have that grubs buff. And it looks like they might even be able to get all 6 grubs, and that's going to be really scary. All 6 grubs against the Trist, against the Jin. Those towers are going to melt.
They're playing for their own win condition just as much, respectively.
And especially for that, you know, sort of lopsided side laning where, you know, you have that heavy tower damage, but maybe not so much survivability on their own. That the grubs are only going to accentuate that.
You know,
as we have the Silas wrapping around here, maybe looking for a pick on the Leona here. Leona kind of Morgan the second sense, but still going to face check it. Take a lot of damage, but that's a lot of ability to burn the Leona. We're going to see if they're going to be able to turn it. Rosethorn coming in, that Ice Aura dealing a lot of damage. The Triss jump with the ult, and wow, UCSB is just going to melt under the Udyr and the Triss there.
That is a great recovery from UCI. It did look really bad.
Vi's a little stuck in the pit, going to get to an engagement with Jin. That's close, but a nice flash for the arrow. And now it looks like Ashe is going to go down to the Udyr here. And that early lead that we kind of saw from UCSB with those good fights is sort of evaporating. Definitely, I think UCI has done a good job of getting those platings and those cross-map trades for those kills. So it's not really kills in the beginning maybe weren't telling the whole story.
Really well played by UCI there.
They're going to get this dragon.
Exactly.
It looks like Silas not really having the room to contest, but is maybe going to get into a fight here. But knows to back off here. Knows that he's a little bit outnumbered in enemy territory. So a lot of objectives going to the side of UCI.
It is important to note, though. I mean, it's 8-7. This game has actually been pretty even, especially compared to what you might have forecasted based on the seeding, based on these people's ranks. I mean, UCI has like Titans who worked for or played for FlyQuest Academy and all of this, right? But this game is actually not entirely bad for UC Santa Barbara. They've definitely had a lot of victories, and I think if they pull through with kind of the macro and maybe stopping the split pushing and the side lanes, I think there is totally a path to victory here. So this is a much closer game than we might have thought.
Meanwhile, we're seeing these pings onto the Rift Herald. It does look like both teams are kind of not wanting to give that up. On the side of UCSB, definitely if you're letting UCI get the Rift Herald, that's going to spell trouble, because with that 6 Worms buff, one bad team fight and you lose everything, and that might even be a game loser. So they're going to try to contest that if they can, but unfortunately no prio for the Gragas. So we have the Udyr wrapping around here, maybe looking for a dive. Vi is going to have to cover. Rosethorn looking like he's getting set up here. Autos the tower a little. Vi comes in, nice flash from Rosethorn. TP to keep the tower aggro. Looks like they're going to try to get this tower down. Nice ult from the Casio. And right away, the Vi is going to go down a little bit squishy, like we talked about, due to that early game troubles. And so she's going to go down, and that's going to be a free Rift Herald for the side of UCI.
A really good job of capitalizing off the early game victories that they had, as they even take this tier 2, or tier 1, I believe.
Yeah, that TP is going to get cancelled, and it looks like they're trying to burst down the Maokai here. Maokai notably, not going to have as much tankiness as the Leona or the Nautilus, these heavy armor supports, and so he's going to go down there.
Definitely starting to crumble a little. That 6 grubs, they've been using those well. Already got top and mid tier 1 this early into the game, 15 minutes. Definitely not great.
Yeah, we see the Triss and the Jin here. They both hit their first item. They're well on their way to the second item. Jin with the BF sword, and Triss with the Zeal. Meanwhile, the Udyr going for that Leandries first. It's going to give him a little bit more tankiness in these fights. That's definitely, or a little bit damage and a little bit of tankiness. It's a good mix of both, and that's definitely part of the reason why we're seeing, the vibe burning in these quick team fights.
Yeah, with their engage being kind of a little bit squishy because of their game state, it's going to be hard to find. Get through the Udyr, get through the Leona, get onto this cast, or this Tristana. I mean, even if you do get onto them, right, what's next? You've kind of used all your cooldowns, so it's definitely tricky to navigate that in these upcoming team fights. Not particularly any objectives right now, so it looks like both teams kind of just, collecting their ways, maybe dancing a little bit in mid, but we'll have to see how UCSB plays.
Yeah, both teams are going to kind of fall into that pretty comfortable 1-2-1, 1-3-1 setup there with the bot lane going mid, as Cassiopeia looking for the pick here onto the Sylas, but comes in, the Vi comes in and is going to hit the ult. Sylas barely flashing out, able to live there, Oh, not able to live, actually dying to the Cassiopeia poison, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 there.
A 1-for-1, that's pretty good for UCI because it did just look like... Actually, well, the Cassiopeia, you know, thought she had an easy pick, but ended up being not so easy, right? Because their jungler was there. But, you know, since it was a 2v1, I think UCI is happy to just, you know, whatever, 1-for-1, it's fine. And that was super narrow.
But that Cassiopeia definitely looking really strong. We're going to get a replay here. So we see the Cassiopeia. Oh, never mind. We're cutting back here. Looks like we get a Herald charge. Maokai ult is a nice setup for UCSB, but not really able to find much off of it, as a little bit of a split fight here. You know, the Jhin looking to set up on that sliver of a health, and you know, kind of UCSB is just gonna kind of get burned down by the Triss there, the Triss and the Udyr. And
a lot of burning and another Herald charge.
And definitely, like we talked about, those grubs, look at them. It's like an army around that tower that's really, really burning through those towers. You know, as with that 6k gold lead for the side of UCI, and it looks like they're going to be able to get this win.
It seems like the game is slipping away from UCSB little by little. It did used to be pretty even.
Definitely, there's a really strong early game start, but particularly, you know, with the Vi and the Ashe, you know, that's a little bit expected. But now we're getting into the later stages of the game, and that double AD carry comp, you know, once it gets to that third item, is really gonna shine.
Yeah.
For the Jhin and the Triss, and we're getting a replay here. I see the Maokai ult hits, but just not able really to find the follow-up. You know, can't really get the Jhin all the way down. With some good peel there, that, you know, the Jhin ult and the Triss are just gonna burn down the Maokai and the Sylas there.
Jhin living at 1, having just sniped 1, 2, 3, 4. He's happy with that fight. And like you said, he's happy to just scale him and Tristana. That double ADC really ended up being pretty favorable for UCI here. That decision ended up being bountiful for them.
But notably for that fight, you know, the Jhin Flesh is going to be down for the Baron. So that at least is maybe the saving grace in that fight for UCSB. They are going to have, you know, resources to kind of take another pass, as we're getting into another engagement here. Looks like Maokai, J-Way is just a little bit caught out there, as Rosethorn thinking about wrapping around for the Sylas, but decides not to push it. And they're just going to get Prow in all 3 lanes here.
They're finding good ways to catch, and it looks like here they're going to go for this mid fight with the Vi going in, but she's just going to find the face of 4 UCI members, so going to die immediately as they siege onto this mid tower, but the wave is not there, so they're not able to take it just yet. They're going to get their backup though. You probably look for this with the 6 grubs, but the Gragas tries to find an angle, but he ends up getting rooted. He doesn't even get the kill on the cast as he gets engaged on, and he gets eliminated. Oh, but it looks like Rosethorn, his shield just slightly makes him live, and they're backing out. UCI on the run.
Yeah. All of UCI looks like they're going to just live on 1 here. It's remains to be seen if the Udyr is going to get out, but it looks like everyone's going to get out safe. And, you know, that's kind of just the story of the game so far. UCSB is able to find these picks, but just not really able to close them out. You know, not really having the damage to burst them all the way down to 0.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that a lot in this game. And I think if there were an angle for UCSB to get back into the game, I think it would have been that fight for sure.
As we see the gold distributions here in pairs up, and we go to replay. Yeah, so as you see, the Vi is going to get on, the Vi is going to get cut out there, and we're going to siege this tower for a little bit. Meanwhile, Gragas comes in, finds this nice ult onto Minato Aqua, but you know, the Ashe is just getting zoned off a little bit by the Udyr, and the Triss is able to safely play over the wall. Slunt is hiding there, but just can't get the damage. UCI is going to start this Baron. UCSB really wants to, you know, take it off, engage onto Leona. Slunt here is going to try to deal as much damage as he can, as you know, a nice engage onto the Cassio.
And I think they might even end up with the victory here. They got them off the Baron, and they're going to get these kills.
Yeah, and it looks like UCSB is going to, maybe get an opportunity to go for Baron here, but opts to just kind of push mid. Looks like they're pinging that mid tower. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get a replay of the game. Here it is. So yeah, you see the Maokai ult, the retake is really good on the Baron fight. And then, Mr. Aqua just kind of gets bursted down by the Silas there. Nice find. Particularly with the Udyr ult, that ice scaling is going to be very high for Silas. So that the Squisher, Triss, and the Jhin, they just go down.
I have to give my compliments to Jason. It feels like in almost every team fight, his ults have been extremely valuable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think in that fight bot lane that happened earlier in the game, his ult was secured to kill on the Jhin maybe. And then of course here, I think his ult scattering the team of UCI in this Baron fight, that was also huge. And of course it happened almost in the mid wave in that earlier fight as well. So definitely a lot of value from that Gragas, yeah.
Yeah, as Udyr's going to try to steal away that blue buff right before the dragon fight, but not going to be able to get it. UCSB is definitely going to not want to give up the soul point. I think it's only going to get worse and worse for them as the game goes on, so they want to contest as many objectives as they can. Notably, as we just saw, UCSB's sort of retake on objectives is really good with the Maokai ult. And so we can kind of see them using that pick on the reverse. As Maokai's going to get a little caught out, Asher's going to whiff, and it looks like a lot of rush onto the back line here. The Silas and the Vi are just going to burst down all of UCI, but the Casio is still living, able to get a lot of damage. We'll see if Minato can close it out. Jason finds the E, and it looks like that is going to be a one fight on the side of UCSB, a 1 for 5.
A triple kill. Triple kill for the Silas too. That's massive. Wait, and they're gonna get secure Baron off of that. So how does this blunder happen? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so definitely like the Maokai there, they're kind of engaging. They're trying to throw everything onto the Maokai, but they're kind of neglecting their backline a little bit. As you can see, the Vi gets in on the Jhin, and then meanwhile, also onto Zhao, the Silas gets back there too. And meanwhile, they're just not able to get on top of Slunt. Ash has this slow self-heal, and so she's not going to go down. She's going to be pumping out damage, be online for 10 plus seconds there.
That Ash reminds me of Gumayushi. I mean, just gliding there, Slunt.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
So UCSB with the Baron now, they're going to see what they can do. Definitely a turning point at this game here. We're seeing the cracks in UCI kind of start to show here, as it looks like they're going to position back for this drag fight again. All the ults are back up, except for the Maokai ult on the side of UCSB. They really need that Maokai ult, as Asher's going to land. Ults used on both sides, but nothing really solidified. Nice route onto the Ashe. And so Silas going to block there as the Vi goes in, finds the Casio. Casio's going to go golden, and Rosethorn getting melted down. Slunt is going to go down, and that looks like, Silas is golden here. He's going to see if he can get something done, but the Triss and the Udyr are just going to be able to close out that fight with a quadra kill for Zhao.
Quadra kill for the Trist right after this triple kill for the Silas. Silas is trying to put in the work. Gragas, again, trying to put in the work here. The last surviving member of UCSB right now, trying to stop them from maybe going for inhib or something. He does have wave clear. It seems like they're going to probably back off soon. I think UCI is super happy. Before this fight, the gold lead was almost even again. It was back into a similar game state. As we're going to have a replay here.
Yeah, so notably, one of the big differences in this fight is that it's played a little bit more front to back. UCSB is not really going to be able to find that big pick onto the Trist, onto the Jhin. Instead, it's going to be onto the Casio here. The Casio has the stopwatch, and it's just going to be able to kind of sustain all that damage. And meanwhile, the Triss is going to find that nice angle onto Ashe there. And from there, it's a pretty easy game plan for the Udyr and the Triss.
I think they were also zoned out from even getting to the Dragon Pit, and so that was also a free dragon for UCI. So now they're on Soul Point.
Yeah. And another thing about that fight we can definitely see is that Maokai ult. The absence of that Maokai ult is a big deal for UCSB. It's really a fight disruptor, and that's what's sort of, that and the Asher are sort of setting up these crazy picks for the Silas and the Vi and the Gragas. As, you know, Silas looking for something in Rosethorn's jungle, but not gonna really be able to find anything there, and they're just gonna look for that mid prio.
I think UCSB can stand proud though, win or lose, however this game ends up going.
But it's certainly not over yet.
100%.
As we can see from these fights, you know, they're definitely able to go either way. You know, kind of just the way these two comps are set up, they can either go really bad or really good for either side. As it looks like UCSB is going to have some members having to manage sides here. So UCI is going to get a lot of mid prio. They're going to start running into the jungle. You know, maybe going to be able to steal away this blue buff, which is going to you know, kind of suck for the UCSB, you know, kind of being deprived of that team-wide blue buff.
Yeah.
Looks like you're going to be able to get the wolves too.
Vi's almost homeless. Basically took her entire jungle from her.
Yeah. Notably though, I think the Vi has really brought it back against the Udyr. You know, that, you know, still a little bit down from the CS angle, but in terms of utility in these team fights, we're definitely seeing Poplar sort of come into their own and finding these good picks. As Minato Aqua is going to rotate down to the bot side here, looking to match the Silas. That's definitely going to be an exciting matchup.
Look at these gold leads that were just shown. Right, that's 4K about total for UCI, but they've had that amount of gold and they've still lost team fights in this game. So we'll have to see if maybe UCSB can work their magic and try and get a repeat of that. But I think it is on UCI to make a mistake in that sense, right? It is later in the game, so the scaling. You have a strong Jin with all his items, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, all of that, as well as a Trist.
Trist with BT, you know, getting that extra survivability. It's looking, like we said, this is the 3-item, the 4-item mark where UCI's comp is going to become, you know, it's going to feel almost unbeatable to play against. As we're going to have the Baron and that last Chemtech Drake coming up. UCSB has to contest here. This is sole point. And it looks like, you know, they're not going to have position on the Drake. They're going to have to try to retake again with the Maokai ult and with the Ash Arrow. And we're going to see possibly a similar fight to what we've seen before.
But not if they pivot toward Baron, maybe. It is up in about a minute or a little bit less than that. So maybe they're dancing around with the idea, okay, if you get Soul, maybe we'll go for Baron here, right? And so now they're kind of playing a game of chicken and mid. But it seems like UCI not interested. They're just going to be taking the Dragon, and I think UCSB is going to have to follow.
Yeah, so it remains to be seen what's going to happen here. That Dragon's going down real fast. By gets it, they're not going to be able to steal the drag. And a little bit of messy fight, but Silas in the backline, Jin has to flash out, and he's just popped right there. You know, the Jin ult is going to be able to clean up here. Jason going golden, and they're just going to gift that kill over to the Cassio, but flashes with the wall, may be able to live here. We'll see if he's able to TP out or, you know, maybe getting greed the repo here. Trying to burst down Minato Aqua. You know, the Gragas into the Cassio is definitely going to be interesting in terms of, at this phase of the game, you know, being able to dash around, but unfortunately, you know, he's usually down there.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, the siege is going to start onto UCSB, and it looks like, you know, they're all wiped here, and, you know, the Vi is coming up, the Maokai's coming up, the Silas is coming up. We'll see if they're going to be able to stall, but it's looking rough. The Maokai's going to get popped, and same with the Vi, as, you know, this looks like, you know, the Jin's really low. Silas can turn this, but no, you know, going to steal the Udyr ult. It's not enough, and UCI is going to close out this game.
Nice victory for UCI, as expected, but UCSB did not go down without a fight there. Definitely very proud of that team. I think you can be happy with that performance. I think it goes to show UCI definitely not invincible. And so in any future matches where UCI is involved, I think, you know, you can definitely take down those Titans, that Goliath there.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's a David upcoming in this tournament.
Yeah, and notably, you know, UCSB not going to be eliminated. I believe they're going to fall down to the lower bracket. So they are going to get a second shot at, you know, the title and potentially a second shot at UCI, you know, maybe in the finals. You know, if they can keep up the showing, I think definitely they'll be in a good spot.
Yeah. With that said, thank you for watching match 2, and we're going to head to match 3 pretty soon after this momentary pause. We'll see you guys soon.
Welcome back, guys, to match 3. This time we're going to be going straight into the losers bracket with the losers from the previous matches fighting in this one. I'm Zandy,
And I'm Michael.
and welcome back to UCEI, sponsored by Xfinity.
This is technically match 4. We weren't able to
Ah.
broadcast the third match, so yeah, this is gonna be the losers bracket as Andy was talking about, UCR versus UCSD.
That's correct.
Um,
Now it looks like UCR really has been learning. They are taking the Jin Rail combo that UCLA played against them 3 matches ago at this point. And looks like that the UCSD will be responding in kind with their own Ashe and Renata comp. I think they're going to play a little more back this time, with Renata not being necessarily an engaged support, but more looking to get some cheeky hooks off.
yeah, definitely. I also think that UCSD is gonna have the early lead here when it comes to bot lane, with Ashe and Renata being quite I guess threatening,
Yes, definitely.
especially with the CC, you know, the Ashe autos, whereas Jin and Rel, they might have to play slightly more safer early on, because you know how Jin is, the reload is extremely slow. I mean, compared to Ashe, who can rapidly attack, you know. I think, at least from what I know, UCR is going to try and play this one a bit more slow in the bot lane, maybe play for Renekton, who is a lane bully. So yeah.
I think the Renekton's probably going to be top here, right?
Yes, Renekton
Yeah.
probably will be top, yeah.
Okay. It looks like UCSD will be picking a Vi as their jungler, but UCR will be playing Silas, just like from Worlds. Hopefully they can emulate a little bit of that faker energy and really help them not get knocked out of this losers bracket of UCEI, sponsored by Xfinity.
Sponsored by Xfinity, yes. Just looking at these bans here from UCSD, we see Aatrox, Mord, Gwen. I think UCSD is quite scared of UCR's top laner. Who was UC?
The Mordekaiser
Yes,
was really good.
Yes.
previous
From
game.
if you were watching our first game, you would see that UCR's top laner Mordekaiser was doing extremely well. He was carrying those team fights, honestly letting them stay in the game for that long until UCLA ultimately won. But just target banning that top laner was a smart move in my opinion.
Look, I think the Rumble's going to have some difficulty here in lane, especially with
Definitely, yes.
Renekton being the bruiser that he is. I've played into a lot of Rumbles before, and they usually fall apart when someone gets in their face, even though they are technically more of a close-range champion.
Yeah. As for scaling, I would say that these two teams are relatively more even. However, maybe UCR does have the edge here when it comes to Graves, who can easily one-shot people when it comes to maybe past 30 minutes. Same thing with Jin, that extreme range and just that damage. Lots of AD past that 30-minute mark. That's just really going to help him.
Definitely.
Yeah, in those team fights.
So yeah, what do you think about the Hui pick, actually? I've seen a lot of Huis in middle, but I've never really seen him played in a competitive setting unless I'm very uneducated.
So this is going to be Hui into Silas. I do believe that this is a skill matchup. Silas really just has to hit that second E whenever Graves comes to gank. We do know that Graves doesn't have that much CC, making it harder for him to gank. Just overall more reliant on macro. For that reason, I think Hui just needs to play extremely safe when it comes to early game. Just have that good vision going on around mid rivers, and I think Hui's going to be fine then.
That's definitely for sure. Now I think the Vi pick definitely was used last game and did almost beat out the Erdier. However, the Erdier definitely provided a lot more utility in team fights, especially with his ultimate being such a wide radius around. What do you think this Vi will do in this game?
The Vi, I think Vi is honestly has to ult just Jin, right? I mean, especially come late game, Vi has to be saving that ultimate for Jin. Maybe could use it on Silas as well, or Graves, assuming they go squishier builds. Definitely Vi has the upper advantage when it comes to ganking early game. However, as we do know, Graves will creep up towards the end.
Interesting.
I think we could talk a bit about the teams here. So I think you can give us a rundown of UCR.
Yeah. So UCR definitely they were the 7th seed in tournament, and as we do know from match 1 that they are a completely new team with most of the previously junior varsity members being promoted now. they did already get knocked out by UCLA, although it was slightly expected because we had beaten them before. But yeah, I wonder how it's going to go in this losers bracket.
I think contrary to UCR, UCSD has a much more established reputation, as many viewers might know already. They were in close contention with UCI past years prior. I think UCSD has actually been in every single UCEI final, and they actually won 2022 as well. So definitely they are the projected winners for this match. So obviously with both restructuring in both programs, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising that they already got knocked out, but I guess
Exactly.
I guess they are smurfing in losers queue if they win this one.
So UCSD was also top 16 in CLO NA last year, and also top 16 in CLO fall warm-up. So definitely have a good start despite being a relatively newer roster. So at least me personally, my prediction is going to be that UCSD will win.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Previous games, it is actually funny that both of these teams did use Oriana as their middle. I guess they're trying to switch it up now with Silas and Hui. Maybe the Oriana utility in team fights wasn't enough. I guess Hui does have a lot of really strong CC abilities, and Silas can steal the ults of the other team, so it would provide definitely a lot more utility.
I really see Silas here just stealing Renata and Rumble ult the most. I think that would provide the most teamfight utility. However, I do see maybe Ashe ults being taken when it comes to chasing someone down or just stopping a recall.
Yeah, definitely. The Ashe long bomb ult really, it is definitely a shot in the dark, but if it hits, it can really turn a team fight around.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, as the spectator delay winds down, I know you said that UCSD will win, but how long do you think this game will take? Do you think it's going to drag out into like the far end game, or do you think it'll be like a quick early beater?
I really have to say that I think it's going to be a longer game. We saw with the UCLA UCR game that was actually heading towards 30, almost 40 minutes long, I believe. So UCR isn't actually a bad team, especially because of UCLA's stronger roster this year. However, they will be able to put up a fight against UCSD, though I do believe that UCSD is going to come down in the end. With that said, 30 minutes maybe 40 minutes. It's honestly not too predictable in my opinion.
Makes sense. So yeah.
Look more into these comps here for just a second. Top lane, I see Renekton getting prio, as I said earlier. Mid lane, just honestly, I believe that's going to be more of a skill matchup. I think Silas will have the upper hand when it comes to roaming. I do see Silas actually going bot lane a lot to assist the Rel.
Yeah, especially in the early game, right?
Especially early game, because we know Rel's engage is extremely strong, so I do believe UCSD has to be a lot more aware of that. As for jungle...
Keep talking.
As for jungle, I would say that Vi is going to definitely be better with the gangster early hand. So looks like we are having some technical difficulties here. We're going to jump into a quick break.
Yeah.
We'll be back in maybe 5-10 minutes. Sorry,
Hopefully
guys.
5-10 minutes. See you guys later.
Our new Xfinity gateways can support hundreds of devices.
Up your internet gay. Am I right?
I'm over here.
Am I close?
Nope. Get a strong connection to power hundreds of devices with ultra-low lag.
Marco?
Bring on the good stuff.
Hello guys, welcome back. So after some technical difficulties, we are unable to proceed with the match right now. I very much apologize, but you're just gonna have to miss out on this very exciting game. However, we can go to the bracket right now and we can see the standings as they are today. As you can see, Irvine does proceed to the semifinals and they will be guaranteed to be going to the LAN party due to having already won a game and being the first seed in the tournament.
Tomorrow we're gonna see some more exciting matches. I think we will be looking at LA versus Berkeley, and we'll also be looking at Santa Barbara versus whoever wins the current ongoing match.
That's correct.
We're actually not sure why the spectator tool is not exactly working, but we can only presume that's because of Worlds. Everyone's playing lots of League today. Yeah.
If you are an aspiring coder, I'm sure Riot is looking for more coders, especially to help fix their very buggy software. So, what were your thoughts on the matches today?
I think we all had some really interesting and electrifying matches. None of them were really a stomp. I think both, for every single match, teams showed signs of coming back. But yeah, overall, just a really fun day. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. I thought the ult combos in the first match for LA, especially the Aurora, Corki, and Rel ult, those actually went crazy. Every team fight was very much dominated by those, and those really helped seal the deal, especially during the late game when they got the Baron buff and all the dragons. It was just game over for the other team.
Definitely, yeah. Should we wrap it, or?
All right, yes, we will wrap it. All right, thank you for tuning in to the UCEI, sponsored by Xfinity, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, be there tomorrow, same time.
Let's say you're deep in a show, or a game, or the game, on a train, at home, at work. Okay, maybe not at work. Point is, at Xfinity, we're constantly engineering new ways to get the entertainment you love to you faster and easier than ever. That's what I do. Is that Love Island?
I got it,